There was a man who went down on one knee and proposed to his partner. She, in turn, whipped out her phone to get that point of view shot, and he dashed the phone out of her hand and behind his head. Do we think that we spend too much time trying to capture moments in pictures and videos, and are we struggling with staying in the present?
I would probably say I definitely think that, I don't think everybody is, but I think a lot, I say generally in society, yes. When you see the uptake of what's going on in regards to how much is posted every day. I think I saw something that said like 1 billion things are posted on social media networks every single day. Like, it's a lot. So I think we're definitely obsessed with capturing the moment rather than being in it. And I think for a lot of people, I read this really great statement. I think it was in, I can't remember what, we're going to link it at the end, but I can't remember specifically what it said, where it was from. But it was saying that, you know, life is a wasteland and we have no control over what goes on in our life or our real reality. So social media gives us a place where we can control the narrative and how we come across and how we're portrayed and how we're seen. And they're saying in real life, we can't, a lot of the times, measure our success. If you're not probably at the top of the socio-economic scale or you're making a lot of money, they said, forward movement in life can be very up and down, and you can't measure sometimes where you're going. But on social media with likes, you definitely can. You can measure whether you're at success or whatever. So I think that's, for a lot of people, they're getting something from it. It's that sense of importance or worth or accolades or street cred, other people thinking that you're doing something good. And I think that's what people are getting from it, but it's actually taking them out of like experience in life.
Same. I think I'll agree. I mean, I am a big believer of not capturing everything. And I've spoken previously on the show as well, speaking about like, I don't have a picture with my partner and I would not put that on the internet, because for me, it's just like, not every moment or not every part of my life is for the internet to know. It's okay if they only get to know me in one dimension and that everybody in my real life gets to know me, the full me. And I saw this quote on Twitter, maybe a couple months ago, and it was somebody saying basically along the lines that they thank God that the best parts of their life happen off the internet. And when I saw that, I thought to myself, yes, I actually 100% agree with that. I'm so thankful that the best parts of my life happen off the internet, and that when they are happening, I'm not thinking, God, where's my phone? I need to show everyone. And I actually don't think there's anything wrong with sharing. That's the worst thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with sharing, but I think we've gone past the line of I'm doing this because I want to share it with the people I love versus I'm doing this to maybe share, and there might be an element of showing off. I can't say for everyone, but there might be an element of showing off. So now it's not as it's not as sincere, or it's not really for us. So I think now, and I wouldn't say our generation, but probably the generation below us are probably going to be obsessed with taking videos and photos of absolutely everything. I think we're still kind of a little bit more level-headed, but I think this new generation that are being born and raised on social media, I've never known life without the internet. It's going to be absolutely tough with them. But see, I'm just on the fine line of it all, because I don't think there's anything wrong with capturing all those moments, because I like memories. And if I was being proposed to, I would like maybe a separate videographer so I can watch it back. But I don't know if I would have taken my phone out. Sorry, running thought.
No, it makes it. But I think that the thing that frustrated me about the video was that she was already being filmed. She already knew that there was a bunch of people around her and that people were filming her already. So it was literally just to get it at a different angle. That's the only reason why she ripped it out. But I think for me, I am on both ends of the spectrum, because I'm definitely guilty of capturing everything in pictures and videos, and not even for social media, because the best things I kind of just keep for myself. Because, you know, the best things are like, might have my family in them. I don't really like to put my family on social media like that. Like, I don't, you know, put my nan on my Instagram or anything like that, but I still want to capture the moment. But then on the other end of the spectrum, I get really frustrated when I'm in social settings and people are on their phones instead of interacting. And, you know, it's happened to me so many times. The other day I was having like a great conversation with two people and one person was sitting over there and one person was sitting there. So I was doing my thing of talking to people, you know, because we were all engaging in a conversation. And then at one point, as I finished talking to the girl, I looked to the boy and he's like scrolling on Facebook, and it just really bothered me. You know, when I went away for my birthday just gone, I set up a phone jar in the dining room so that when we came back home from like exploring the hills, we would put our phones in the jar so that we would actually like interact with each other. Because like I said, like I don't want to be sitting at this big table with a bunch of people that I care about and that I love and having like a moment in my life which is important, my birthday, and then see someone scrolling on Instagram. And I think it's because you're giving away more than just your attention when you're fixated on your screen. For me, when I go to bed, like I'll put my phone on airplane mode. And when I wake up, I won't take it off airplane mode for at least 2 hours after I've gotten up. Because you will give your emotions to the world news. You will give your feelings to the timeline. Whatever's happening, if you're starting your day off well and then there's a tragedy, you're completely zoned into this tragedy and you're intaking all of this trauma. Or it can even be, you know, a lot less relevant, something that a celebrity's done that you've spent 20 minutes reading about that just does nothing for your life and nothing for your day. So I guess, yeah, like I'm on both ends, to be honest.
Yolanda, I have 2 questions for you, sorry, based on what you just said. One, why do you put your phone on airplane mode and not do not disturb?
What does do not disturb do? Sorry, I actually don't know. What does it do?
So when you put your phone on airplane mode, basically it turns like, I guess your network is signaling on. But with do not disturb, basically all it does is it diverts all your calls to voicemail and basically removes all the notifications. So people can still call or text you. You just won't get any notification on it. Like nothing will happen on your phone, but you get to keep your network up.
And you can also let people through. You can also let people through if they're like an emergency contact. So there can be certain people who can bypass it in case there's like an emergency as well, which obviously you don't get on APN mode because you're not connected to anyone.
So I'm good without that because...
Fair enough. You do you.
Fair.
Firstly, I do believe in... I don't know. Oh, I'm going to say I believe in this thing and I can't remember what to call it. Airwaves? Radiation? What is the sound wave? But the things that come out of our phones? Like, and I just want to block that for a certain amount of hours in my day. And then also for me, like the act of taking my phone off airplane mode, that's like, okay, I'm starting my day now. I'm welcoming myself into the world. I know if there was anything serious that like, you know, it would be an email like, oh, I've tried to call you. Okay, I'll take my phone off airplane mode. And it's not like I'm keeping it on for the whole day. It's literally just the first 2 hours when I wake up because I don't want to straight away go to Instagram or straight away go to Twitter. Because like these things affect us more than we pay attention to because at this point, we're so used to them. So I just kind of wanted to like actually have some time to set myself up in the emotions that I want to be for the day instead of giving myself over to the internet.
I think
never use do not disturb in my life.
I think just do what suits you, and I think you're giving some really healthy and concrete tips for people in how to kind of mitigate the use of social media in their life, because I think a lot of times when we're like, you know, just don't use it or take off all your apps or don't get any notifications, maybe it's not realistic. So I think that's a good way to kind of find a rhythm that works best for you. And I think that a lot of times why we're so caught up in this social media life is because I like pretty feeds. I try to curate my own Instagram feed to look a certain way. And I really like to look at other people's feeds. I guess Instagram influencers, we would call them. And I think the majority of people will follow one or two or a few or many, because obviously Instagram is all about the aesthetics. But we don't realize that those people who are doing that is for their job. And they put a lot of damn time into it. Like, it's so much work. I saw this Instagram influencer talking about when she took holiday pictures. She went away with a group of other Instagram influencers, and they were taking pictures at national landmarks and tourist sites with no one else around. And she was like, we got up at like 2-3 a.m. And then we went there so that when the light came up at first light, we would be the only ones there to take the picture. And then you're spending 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour hour trying to get your best angles and this and that. And then they put it online, and then we, as numbnuts, we're like, wow, oh my gosh, they look so amazing. Look at that. Look where they are. Look at that light. Look at this. And a lot of work has gone into it. And I think that sometimes a lot of people aren't realistic about what is going into these images that they're doing. And then people can start to feel inferior as a result. I mean, but Luanda, you can answer this. Like, you do modeling. Like, how much time does it take to be camera ready for the shoot?
Well, I think the difference between like modeling and being an influencer is like when you're doing modeling, you're actually trying to be part of a concept. So people are setting you up with your hair, makeup and your clothes to be a part of a concept that someone has already created. And when you're an influencer, it's like trying to make your life look as shiny as possible. So it's not the same as doing work for like a brand or an editorial or anything like that. It's like, this is my day-to-day life, but it's as interesting, it's as glamorous, as amazing as what you would see for a brand or an editorial, you know?
But I'm talking about influencers because a lot of the ones that I follow, they're at the top of their game and they are advertising for brands and for major companies like watches, jewelry, perfume, makeup.
Clothes,
they are
underwear,
now
handbags.
But yeah, they're brand endorsers now. And that's, I guess there's this tension between models now saying actually they're taken away from the work that we're doing because this is a real job. And when you make it seem like you can do it, I guess from your home studio, you kind of cheapen it, degrade it a little bit. I don't know if those are the right words, but you know what I mean.
think the opposite. I don't think that's true because I think the difference with influencers now is that you can be an influencer from us deciding that we like you. And we always talk about the power of the audience, the power of the social media, where if you would see there's quite a few influencers who probably wouldn't be able to break into the modeling industry as it stands, but because they've made a name for themselves as an influencer, they can. And so now what we're seeing is a more diverse range of models. Like we're seeing bigger bodies, we're seeing darker skin tones, we're seeing natural hair, we're seeing trans people. Like it's actually fantastic. And I came across someone's page the other day, and I forget her name. I really wish I could remember so that you guys could find her. But she is she's a trans woman. She's a black trans woman, natural hair, dark skin, big body. And she's an influencer. She was an influencer first. And now she's got a campaign with Calvin Klein. Do you think that, you know, if she wasn't an influencer and she walks in with her skin tone and her body and the hair that she has, and she was like, hi, I want to model for Calvin Klein, they would never have looked at her. So I think now that we're giving more power to the people, because actually it's funny, like how we just talked about the Gravy song and things like that, because actually the audiences, the majority of us, we want to see diversity. We want to see people that not only look like us, but that look like our friends and look like our neighbors and look like our friendship groups. We want to see everyone included. We actually do want inclusivity. And I think the internet is proving that by giving power to these people who otherwise probably wouldn't have been able to make a name for themselves if they were just trying to enter through traditional means.
That's so true. And I think that, I agree with you 100%. You're right. So thanks for flipping the other side of the coin and, you know, showing us on the other side.
Thank you for giving us your lovely insights.
Exactly. And I think that going back to like our original question in terms of us getting out of the moment, I think when we're trying to capture all these moments and all these perfectly curated holidays and this and that, what we see a lot less of is people talking about the pain in their lives and when things are difficult.
Oh, yes.
And I think that's what's one of the hardest things for people to get a sense of realism in terms of what's going on, because you only want to show the upside and the highlight reel rather than, you know, sometimes life is pretty hard and can be really ugly.
Yeah, I agree, but I do you know what? I don't know if it's just what I have seen, but sometimes, you know, when like you see those the people on the internet who don't mind sharing the sad times in their life, I sometimes end up seeing, like, we've all seen the Michael Jordan crying meme. Like, people will be like, oh, ha, ha, like this.
Yes, no,
yes. My whole point is, like, I've sometimes seen people like they're so sad or they're upset and they're crying, and I've just seen especially it's like with YouTubers, I don't know if you guys have ever looked at YouTube comments, but it is the land of the lawless there. And if a YouTuber, for example, is crying about something has happened in their life, people are just like, oh, you look at you, why are you crying on the internet? Like they use it as an opportunity to attack because that person is weak. So sometimes I think with a lot of people, you almost don't want to share your sadness on the internet because you either don't want people to attack it or you don't want to even highlight it to the world that these are the bad things that are happening. And I kind of understand that. So I do give people all leeway with not posting the sad stuff.
Do you know what? It's so true. I guess I just wonder how we find the balance then. Because I guess where we've ended up now is this place where, you're right, the crime videos that I've seen of Lizzo are very few to the ones of her twerking and having a great time. But where do we find the light and shade so that the next generation come up don't get obsessed with curation and presenting things only one way? And I don't know the answer. Like, I'm just throwing that question out into the ether.
Well, on that land of the lawless. I like that a lot.
I know, right? I'm telling you, Anissa has the best one-liners, and she's probably going to have some for us.
Sometimes I don't even catch them in the moment. Most of the times I don't even catch them in the moment. I'm like, you're so funny.
No.
God.
So you just literally reminded me. How do you guys feel about this? Because I always feel a bit mixed bag about it. You know when someone posts up a lovely picture of them and it's absolutely like glamorous, then the caption is like, even though I look glamorous, you didn't know that I've spent 10 days crying in the bathroom, blah, blah, blah. And it's like this saddest caption with a glamorous picture. I've always felt quite conflicted with it because I'm like, do you want us to feel sorry for you or to understand that you can still look glamorous when you're sad? Like, I'm always confused about the messaging. I don't know if you guys have ever seen things like this.
I've definitely seen things like that. And I think it, like I was saying before, I just think it makes it really difficult to know how do you balance showing reality, and is it even possible?